Hello, in this video, we're talking about how learning is a superpower that can help you to get more resources. It's amazing how often we say, oh no, I don't have resources to do this and this and this and this. But the reality is there's something that we have that we can develop into a powerful superpower or resource to help us get more resources. It always starts with priorities, what's important. And number two, the resources that you have that you can use to create more resources. And number three is about processes. Processes about aligning with universal principles. Life is governed by universal principles. And really, the starting point is know the game that you're playing. And number two, master the basics of that game and bring in your individuality. That's really how you excel. And number three, collect a fair reward. You're not here to do things for free for everybody forever. Now, what is the difference between a professional and amateur? It really comes down to practical skill. A professional can achieve more with less. In other words, a professional is more efficient than an amateur. And really, to become a professional means you need to practice regularly so you become very good at whatever the skill is that's important to you. But sustained excellence, it really happens because you have made a decision that this is something and this is a goal that I'm going to be devoting myself to making sure that I achieve. So a lot of us don't achieve success in many areas of our lives simply because we're not devoted to anything. We say we want this, but we're not devoted to that. And because we're not devoted, we don't follow through with the things that we said we're going to do. And really, if you're devoted, if you want to keep hitting a bullseye every time or on a regular basis, you got to be relentless in finding out what are the right principles. Remember, life is structured in such a way that there are principles that govern everything. There are principles that govern gravity. There are principles that govern multiplication, that govern growth, that govern everything. So if this is important to you, find out what the right principles are and align with those principles. In that sense, principles, the right principles, are vehicles that can get to your goals a lot faster. Now, the other part, obviously, is the practicing. The practicing is important because whatever the activity is, once it has become second nature to you, you're going to be able to carry it out without even thinking much about it. Whether you choose to become a professional or you choose to become an amateur in relation to a specific issue. Now, in this case, let's talk about finances. You're going to say, fine, I'm going to learn about finances. So I'm going to pay cost in terms of time. I'm going to pay cost in terms of maybe buying books or joining clubs and that kind of stuff. You're going to pay that in the short term, but it's going to work out because it's going to pay for itself in the long term. The amateur, the one who doesn't care, says, no, I'm not going to pay the price because I'm trying to save. But that is going to cost them in the long term. So they're going to end up paying significantly more. But for this to be the case, whether you choose to become a pro or remain an amateur, comes down to your decision. And you have to make a decision that you're going to be different. This is what's important to remember about skills. Nobody cares about your skills. All they care about is how your skills can help them solve a problem that's important to them. That's really what matters. And really, it's about offering value to people. It's about offering something that helps them achieve their goals. Now, the other part that's important is when you're skilled in something and you offer solutions, talk about it. Talk about how your offer can help people. And remember, people buy things from the people they trust. There's a concept in physics that's called entropy. Entropy says things happen spontaneously in the direction of greater disorder. In other words, if you want to become excellent, you need to get up and do the work. You have to build. Entropy says it's easier to destroy than to build. It's easier to become unproductive. It's easier to become mediocre because that, in most cases, requires very little effort. Now, if you want to excel, In other words, if you want to beat entropy, you have to start by saying, what do I want to achieve? It's about intentionality, really, and then taking authority over the issue. Let's talk about money, for example. If you say, you know what, money has been, beating me all the time. I'm always broke. I'm sick and tired of being broke. So what does it mean? You broke because you allowed entropy to take over. You have not taken the effort to do the work, to do the building. You just like everybody else. Oh, okay. Money is difficult because school didn't teach us about money, blah, 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 blah. If you're sick and tired of being poor, get up and make a decision. It's the intentionality that I'm talking about. And you say, I'm going to take authority over the problem of money in my life. Okay? I don't want to suck at this anymore. I want to be good at this. You tell yourself. Now, how is authority different from power? There's a video that explains this in a lot more detail. For now, what matters is authority is about hierarchy based on a legal system of control. If I'm a king, I appoint people to act on my behalf. And the people who act on my behalf have a certain level of authority based on, what function that. For example, if there's somebody who's a magistrate in my kingdom, so their authority is limited to that area. This police officer can tell you to do something and you'll do it. The power that she has is based on the authority that has been given to her by the state. Okay. Now, power is different in that power is something very intrinsic. If I'm a social media influencer, I cannot delegate my power to somebody else, like the ability to influence. But with authority, that happens. Authority is position based. If you want to excel at something, you have to basically make a decision. This shall no longer bully me. The bullying part is important because so much of our lives is controlled by fear. Now, when a snake pops up, everybody scatters all over the place. The reason we scatter is because we're afraid. Now, the reason so many of us are struggling with finances is because we are afraid of finances. We have never looked money in the eye and said, you are not going to bully me anymore from this day onwards. And that's really what's required. You got to make a decision. I'm going to stop being afraid and I must start learning how to manage my money first at the level of survival. And when I master those basics, I move on to the level of thriving where I bring in my individuality. And I always outline this following process. Number one is the decision that you make is about authority. You, whatever the issue is, are not going to bully me anymore. That's the first thing. Number two is make a commitment that you're going to learn. Now, you don't become a snake handler because you feel like it. You have to learn, but you learn after you've made a decision that snakes aren't going to bully me anymore. Then you have to learn, master the basics, and bring in your unique way of doing things. And number three, enforce that authority. Apply the principles. And number four is benefit your ecosystem. Number five, manage your ego. So many people become successful over a period and they become arrogant, they become greedy. They think they are successful because they're special, but they're successful because they align with principles. Here is something that is so important that so many people don't understand. That you, a spiritual entity, you live in a physical packaging called the body. And there's a video that explains this in a lot more detail, so I don't want to spend much time on it. Now, we're saying the same thing differently. And this one says, you're made up of two types of matter, spiritual matter and natural matter. Spiritual matter is wired for relationships, and natural matter is wired for increase. But always make sure spiritual matter is more superior over natural matter. So relationships are much more important than the material things that you need to do. If you do this first, this becomes a whole lot easier to do. When we ask the question, what are you skilled at? We're basically asking, how have you helped people with solutions that have come through as a result of your skill? And it's important that you share stories of how you've helped people. Skill is really about solutions and solutions about helping others. Life is about value exchange. And what that means is helping other people in your ecosystem. I give you something of value, you give me something that I value as well. And it's important because in the Bible, we call that love, but science calls it by a number of names. One of them is mutualism, another one is reciprocity. Number two is trust. Trust is based on the value system. Remember, you buy from people you trust and make sure that people trust you. It's no good being good at solving problems. If people don't trust you, they're not going to come to you. They'll go to somebody they trust, sometimes who's even less skilled than you are. It's important to be trustworthy. When you make a commitment, I'll be there at 2 o'clock, be there at 2 o'clock. When you make a promise, deliver on the promise. That's really the basis of trust. And number three, share your wins. Talk about how good you are. You don't have to talk about it in a bragging way, but if you help people every day, talk about it. So more people know, oh, if I have this problem, I'll call that man or I'll call that woman. But don't forget, you have to get your fair reward. I like this slide because it conveys a very powerful message that to get fruit, build relationship with the source. The source of this fruit is the tree. So take care of the tree. If you want to get a promotion, who is the source of the promotion? It's most likely going to be your boss, but it's not only going to be your boss, it's going to be her peers. Because when she says, look, put your name forward, and the peers say no, she's not going to fight to the bitter end because she has her own career to worry about. So build a relationship with your boss, build a relationship with your boss's peers, and sometimes with your boss's boss. That's how you get the fruit, by building a relationship with the source. Now, having come to the last slide in our conversation, oh, so quickly. The point here is this first book explains how the spiritual world works in relation to the natural world. It's fascinating, and please go get the book. You can get it for free from the website or you can buy it from Amazon, the same as the other one. But the fundamental message here is this: learning is a superpower that can get you more resources, but you have to make a decision that I'm going to take authority over whatever the issue is, whatever talent you have, whatever is of importance to you. If you feel I'm tired of being poor, you must prioritize. I'm not going to allow money and poverty to continue bullying me, and you must take authority. Okay? And means you must learn, and you must, with the skill that you're getting, create and offer solutions. And those solutions are important because it's through those solutions that you're going to get paid. And really, you start with little bit, but as you, because you've made a decision that you're going to take authority over the matter, your skill level improves and increases, and you increasingly offer more creative solutions, and you charge people for that. Remember, you've got to be trustworthy, so more people will want to do business with you. Tell the world how good you are, and make sure you charge them fairly. I hope you found the video helpful. See you in the next video. Bye bye.